Well, then, of course, Marlon Bottleson got the workland and Delbert got the buildings.
Okay.
They were son-in-laws, you see.
Okay.
And I don't know who's here now, who lives here. Then all this flat belonged to T.L. Hanson at one time.
Both sides of the road?
Both sides of the road.
Really?
Well, Victor Hanson was his son. And I don't know, it got split up and they just had this 40 on this side. They had the post office and they had a store here. And Victor built the first Volga, you know, the little church at Volga.
Yeah.
He was a minister. Well, then he got the county office and they left. And a fellow by the name of Bill Grove. The buildings were right there.
Yeah, right in here.
Yeah, and Bill Grove lost his house in the fire in the wintertime. So he moved on the Rey Lark place.
Is that
He lived
right?
there a year or so and had an auction and went to Iron Mountain, Michigan. He was an uncle. Old Bill Grove was an uncle, or was an uncle to Bill Schaefer.
Yeah?
And they went to Iron Mountain. There was two kids, Celia and Willie. I don't know if they're living or not. I have no idea. But that's where the post office was.
I can remember a well casing.
Yeah,
when I was
right.
a kid.
That's right. Well, then you see it laid here, and Martin Jensen lived there, and he bought this 40 to go with his. He got an 80.
Okay.
Martin Jensen, I don't know, they come in 1920 from the Richmond.
Okay.
He was a blacksmith in Richmond. Well, then this became, I don't know, Andrew Jones got a hold of all of this, I guess.
The whole work there,
Yeah,
what
this
Wilbur had?
200 acres, yes.
Yeah?
Andrew Jones had it, and then Charlie Dreyfall came from Iowa.
Oh, I remember
And
that name.
He bought it and had it until the boom in 1919. And then George Kinney bought it. And back in there on that flat next to the woods is where George Kinney blowed up with dynamite.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
I remember that. My dad talking about
no,
that.
No, you don't remember it, because you were just a baby.
Well, I remember my dad talking about it.
Yeah, because he was working at our place. Rudy and your dad was working at our place.
Oh, yeah?
Doing carpenter work.
Okay. What year was that?
I believe in 27. 27 is when it was.
Okay. So that's where it was, back there by the
Yeah,
woods,
but
huh?
on the flat. That was the woods then. And George was blowing stumps.
And he did that so he could collect life insurance?
How does anybody know?
So that's what my dad used to say.
Nobody knows. Sam Glasso said, yeah, it could have happened any day he got out of bed.
Yeah,
he was that reckless. He was so terrible reckless.
Huh.
Nobody knows.
Well, when did Art Wilbur buy this?
Well, then, after Kinney left, who was on it? Who was on that place? I can't remember. Gawker lived there at one time. Harv Gawker.
Did he really?
There was a guy by the name of, there was a guy by the name of
Yeah, you're right.
Jimmy Johnstone. Bob Johnstone. And Bob Johnstone's wife went up in Martin Jensen's chicken coop and committed suicide.
Oh, no.
Yes,
really?
she did. Yes, she did. Well, then, Bob Johnstone had an auction, and Dad bought a bunch of shocked corn, and we hauled from here. And Gawker was plowing with 4 on a gang, and he moved down here that fall. He come from up around Range or White Ash someplace. And I don't know how long Gawker was here. Then he went on the Hokum place at Deronda. And I suppose Wilbur got it after that. I don't think Gawker ever owned it. Suppose the Federal Land Bank had it and he rented it. But then Wilbur bought it, I'm sure, after Gawker left. I'm not absolutely positive.
Wilbur must have been in here around 34, 36?
Yes, he was. Oh, yes.
Yeah?
He was here then.
Okay.
36 was a terrible dry year, and there was nobody thrashing. But when I come by one day, Glenn Green was thrashing for Wilbur.
Okay.
And of course, Pete Johnson place over there. They came from Denmark. I don't know when.
Pete did?
Pete was born here.
He was born here.
His folks came his folks came from Denmark. And he was born on that farm and lived there until Carlson's bought it.
Is that right?
Axel Carlson bought it.
Yeah.
And Donald had it until a few years ago.
That was a nice farm.
Oh, that's a good one.
I can remember the road that used to go in the back
Oh,
on
yeah.
the 160, because there used to be a road through there by Klaus Johnson's.
That was the tote road from Stillwater to
It was.
Mains's Crossing. That's
Yeah.
what clear across country. Yes.
Yeah, that was a beautiful farm back there.
Oh, boy.
Well, now we're going east here on County Trunk H.
Are you getting... Are we on the air yet?
You betcha.
Well, anyway, Martins came in 1920. Spring of 1920, came from Richmond.
A man by the name of Martins?
Martin Jensen.
Oh, Martin Jensen.
Louis' father.
Okay.
There was Louis and Rhoda, and
Louis,
there was Walter, was in the city always.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, there was three of them. And Louis' the only one living.
Louis the only one living?
Yeah, the rest of them, the other two are dead. But then I don't know what year Johnny Hubert bought this. I just don't remember. But it's a good place, a good farm. This Johnny Hubert had, you know, and that was a terrible rocky. Oh, it was solid rock. And they went in there with machinery and broke that up. You remember when all them big Ellen were in there?
Yeah, I remember as a kid.
Sure.
You betcha. You betcha.
Boy, they took rock out of there. Made a good field out of it.
It looks like it's heavy soil. There's good corn
Oh,
there.
it's good land, you bet. But it's a terrible rocky piece of ground.
Does Johnny Hubert own that now?
Oh, yes. All
Okay.
except the buildings.
Okay.
He doesn't own the buildings. That
Okay.
I was
That
a
was
little boy when that barn was built. Remember Chet Morrison and
That was
Fred Riddler played for the barn dance
That was 120 acres, wasn't it, in this farm?
of Jensen. It
Yeah.
was 80. And then they got that 40. Made it 120.
Okay.
It was 80 to begin with.
It's a newer house now than...
Oh,
never
yeah,
used to
that
be a-
old one, that's gone.
Used to be a slant road.
Yes, but that old barn, I remember when they had the barn dance in it.
Is that right?
Fred Riddler and Chet Morrison did the playing. You bet.
My goodness.
They raised the barn, all the neighbors pitched in and raised. That's for you folks to come here.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, now we'll go down and
Well, now you got John Anderson is next.
yes, John Anderson.
Well, you
coming up.
remember John.
I sure do.
I don't know when he come here, but I think he opened that 80 up. I don't know what year. Then his wife died, and
Okay.
I don't know. Ed Hilton, stepson, lived there a year and couldn't get along with John. He went back west, and I don't know. John's brother was out here, and I figured on buying it, but I didn't. And then
There's just nothing.
Howard Vassar bought it. Howard had this, you know.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Howard Vassar had it
Okay.
for several years. Then he traded it to Sam on the home place, and Sam sold it to Earl Banks. And then Earl Banks sold it to Johnny Hubert. Well, Johnny Hubert, I guess one of the Karpinskis lives in the buildings, but Johnny acquired all the fields, and Ronnie Marshall finally got them from Johnny.
I
So
see.
Ronnie Marshall has got the work land.
Okay.
Adler Leisure built the silo. Frenchman from up by Riddler's.
Didn't June Underberg live on here once?
June Underberg lived there quite a while. Yeah, Howard bought it from June Underberg.
Oh, that was it.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Boy, you're taxing my brain.
Well, we just gotta...
The old barn, they tore it down.
Yeah,
Good
the old barn is gone, isn't
It was a
it?
good one.
And now we come up here and
That's John Lark.
comes into view here.
Nels Peterson. When Nels Peterson come there, I don't know, but it was probably very early day.
Yeah.
And he had a lot of little barns. And then Lark tore them down and built a good barn.
Yeah.
And that was all woods, scattered and blew up. And your dad cut them off and opened up a lot of that.
That flat in there.
Yes, he
Uh-huh.
opened that up. But oh boy, it's rocky.
Yeah, that's rocky.
Yeah.
Very rocky.
And
Yeah.
I don't know. It was a guy by the name of August Hansen had that.
Across the road
Yeah.
now.
Well, I worked in the woods with him, or for him, out at McCord. And August Hansen, I don't know, I think he went west, Montana. And Mitchell Pearson came here, all right after the turn of the century. Pold was born up at Range.
Uh-huh.
And they come down here, and Mitchell was here. Well, he died, I suppose, in the early 20s. I rode to school with him in the morning he died. He had 4 horses on his sled hauling hay. And Mitchell died of poison moonshine.
He did.
Oh, yes. Well, then Clifford was here. Pold and Clifford together. Then Clifford was there, and they finally lost.
Okay.
Well, then Walford.
Carlson.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
She was a Pearson.
Oh, I
Hazel was a
see.
Pearson.
She was a Pearson.
So they come over here. Well, then Walford in 1939, he committed suicide.
Yeah, down on the new bridge down there.
That's right.
46.
Yeah. Well, then Hazel hired help, and then she sold it to C.V. Anderson.
Oh, yeah.
Then C.V. had it a year or two, and did he sell to Raleigh Marshall? I believe so. I believe he sold to Raleigh.
Yeah, I think you're right. As far as I
Then-
remember.
Yeah, and now it's Ronnie.
And now it's Ronnie, son of Raleigh.
No, nephew Herb.
Nephew, huh?
See, Herb lives here,
Okay.
and it's his boy.
Oh, it's his boy.
Yeah,
I see.
and then Dennis married the Framstead girl. He lives up on the Gus Johnson place.
Okay.
You know, back of the church.
Okay.
And that was Will Jones' place.
Uh-huh.
Will Jones left and went to Montana to homestead in 1913. And Uncle Amos, my dad's brother, he was there. He was there for, 5, 6 years, I guess. Then he bought the Kinney farm down at Deronda. And there was a fellow by the name of Carlson, worked on the section, was there for a couple of years. Then Carlson moved away, and old Bill Grove come there after his house burned. Lived there for a year or two, had an auction, and then who was there after Bill Grove? Well, isn't that strange? Now
When did Martin?
oh yeah, Martin come from the city out there.
Yeah?
And he was there for, I don't know how long.
Oh, boy.
Quite a while.
Yes. You
Well,
said
then
it.
who went there after Martin?
King owned it.
Oh, Walt King, that's
The
right.
barber.
Yes, sir. Walt King was there for a short time.
That's right.
And then after King, then who?
Well, or wait a minute.
Yeah, that's right.
No? King bought it from us.
No.
Yes. I sold the Walt King.
You did?
Yes.
Well, then you got it after Martin.
Somebody lived there. We rented the place, I remember, when Ed would rent the field
Oh,
when we
yes.
lived here.
Well, Ed lived there, and you moved over here then?
Well, we did after Ed got married.
Yes.
In the previous to that, the preacher lived, Carl H. Olson.
Oh, did he?
He lived there one summer while they built the parsonage.
I guess so.
But didn't somebody else live there after Martin moved off?
Well, it seems to me that you're right.
I don't recall.
I can't recall, Reynolds.
But
I
we
can't.
sold it to Walter King.
Oh, you sold it to King. Well, then who
Yeah.
did King sell it to? Back to Martin?
Yes, I believe so.
I believe so. He was down there.
Yes,
He was down there
Yes.
by
You're right.
Amory.
you're right.
Then Martin come back here.
Yes, then Martin came back here.
That's right.
Yeah.
And that guy's name is
Who is this now?
Perlwitz. His
Oh,
name is.
Okay.
The Pollock.
And he's been there ever since.
I think so, yes.